Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod. We have Kevin Hopp for a round two, CEO at Calling Culture now. You probably remember Hopp Consulting Group. This is a good podcast. Last time we spoke, Kev is a pretty cool dude. Podpire.com is presenting that one. If you want my free ebook and a paid masterclass to get up to date for podcast, monetizing the podcasting game, you can go to podpire.com. Kev, welcome to the pods. What have you been up to since last time we spoke?
Charles, thanks for having me back on, man. I was excited when you reached back out. We had a really good conversation last time. What's happened? I don't know. The SaaS world took a big roller coaster, dump, dive, and back up and all around. I mean, it's been 2023. The back half was really shitty, and then 2024, the front half was pretty shitty. Part of my French on that, but end of last year is when I think I started to see a shift in the market in terms of how people are thinking about, okay, AI's here. It's not ready to replace my sales team. It's not ready to replace things just yet. And we're about to see a big wave of innovation in terms of people investing in AI technology. And there's a gap in the market around how to use it the right way in certain segments. So that's kind of what my new venture, Calling Culture, is about a little bit.
Right. Talking about industries or areas or practices that have taken a hit, my cold email agency, I mean, we've taken a hit because cold email got into spam quite a lot last year because of Outlook and Google constantly putting our emails in the spam for no reason. So that has gone pretty bad. So I have explored some cold calling last year. I definitely still very bullish on LinkedIn outreach, but cold calling, I couldn't get anyone to answer the phone. It seems that there's still so many spam filter on your phone as well, and then you need to get the mobile number. You need to make sure it's good, right? So,
yeah.
Why are you still bullish on cold calling here?
Great question. It is, people like the debate that happens on LinkedIn, probably quarterly. Somebody posts on LinkedIn, cold calling's dead. And everyone loves that. Like the LinkedIn algorithm, turns into a fireball. Cold calling is dead the way that you used to do it. Like picking up the phone, pounding 10 minutes at a time, or doing click to call. Man, people just don't pick up their phone like they used to, right? And the enemy is just like with you in your inbox battle. The enemy is Google and Apple telling people, hey, this is spam likely. Hey, this is telemarketer. Hey, this is not. So when you've known, caller ID was really the start of the death of cold calling. But the good news is there is a way to do it really well, really effectively at scale. So that's why I only work with well-established companies that have well-established budgets for outbound sales, things like that. Because unfortunately, the answer is you need people trained the right way. You need to have a process for how they're going to use technology. So you need to buy some quote unquote expensive tech. It's really not expensive once you really look at what it's doing for you and the productivity. It's based in AI, right? They need to know how to use it, but you need someone on the end of the line who understands how to have conversations and can convert at a high rate. So this is what Calling Culture is. This is what my new venture. It's just a new take on an old concept here, which is cold calling is not dead. You're just probably not doing it the right way. And what you're missing is the knowledge and the process and the training around how to do cold calling in 2025, because it's not the same as what worked in 2015 or what worked in 2018 or what worked in 2020. Like things are moving quickly. So I stay on the cutting edge of that. And a lot of that has to do with artificial intelligence, to be honest with you.
Yes. And are there some industries in which we will have more success calling? For example, is it more B2B than B2C? And are there more some industries that will pick up the phone more, for example, tech?
Well, yes. So yes and no. So number one, I only do B2B. So B2C cold calling is a whole different game. You can kind of call that telemarketing, right? 95% of B2C cold calling has to be opt-in. Consumer protection laws apply much heavier for B2C cold calling. It's complicated, the do not call list, all that kind of stuff. In B2B, it is still the Wild West. You can call anybody. And if you're calling from a business to a business, your right to do that is protected in the United States. So B2B is very different than B2C. Let me just say that, right? If you cold call people, individual people, I'm not your guy. If you cold call businesses, I am your guy, right? But the point of your question there, Charles, Yes, there are going to be, I'd say less of industries, more of titles and personas that pick up the phone. You got to think about people whose job it is every day to answer to other people, right? Human resources. They don't do a lot of calling of people, they do a lot of taking calls, right? Accounting, they rarely pick up their phone as well. They rarely pick up their phone to call people, right? They get calls. Salespeople are going to pick up their phone, but they're also going to be spicy. They're going to be harder to have that conversation with. And then you have a segment like marketers. Marketers have gotten targeted the most, I would say, in the last 10 years. So they're hard to sell to on the phone as well. But in general, executive level people are going to be harder to cold call because they have more going on and they're making calls out. They're calling investors, they're calling partners, they're calling other people. Their phone is busy, so they have less time to talk. And if you call people below the power line, you're going to have more conversations. Now, you got to understand what to do with those conversations. You got to understand that if you set a meeting with someone below the power line, you have to have a thoughtful sales strategy as to how you get above the power line. But a lot of what I teach, Charles, is helping organizations go from what I call 0 to 1, which is you're sitting here, you're looking at your account list on the wall, and you're like, I want to sell to Acme Corporation. Well, what is Acme Corporation doing to solve the problems that you solve for, right? You don't know. Let's go talk to people at Acme. Let's learn something about the account. And then maybe we can approach the CEO or the executive leader or who we ever think the economic buyer is going to be with a thoughtful, customized reach out as opposed to cold. So a lot of those kind of strategies are what I teach. And to wrap it all up, people below the power line tend to pick up the phone more than executives.
Okay, yeah, that's a good insight. Then talking about insight and talking about AI, if you record what goes on in these conversations, you feed all of these convos to AI and ask AI what insights it has got out of all these conversations.
So, you think that would be pretty commonplace. That is something that I would say less than, 3% of all revenue organizations are doing right now. There are not really good systems built for this. This is one of the offerings that I offer as a service through Call and Culture, by the way. I have a GTM engineering team that I work with. So my customers, we definitely do that. We can take systematically, programmatically, take call recordings from each of your reps, summarize them, ask ChatGPT for feedback with very specific prompt engineering, and then feed that back. So you're actually learning from your live calls. Most of the people that are doing that right now, like actual software programs, are super expensive and they only operate in the enterprise space. And they are mostly focused. The players in that space are focused on call centers. The call center software market is huge, and rightly so. I mean, every major Fortune 500 company has a big ass call center. So if you could serve those people, it goes a long way. I work with like venture-backed tech companies. They don't need call center software, and they don't run a call center. So I can build that feedback engine and loop based on what I'm teaching inside of your organization.
Right. And yeah, talking about these large organization, is that who your ICP is nowadays and how much you charge for your services as a consultant?
Yeah, great question. I can make a joke. A gentleman never tells. How much does it cost? Cost $1 million. That's as a consultant and a trainer, it really is relative to the value that I'm going to provide. Right, a small company getting things off the ground would be very reasonable pricing. A larger organization with a well-established enablement and learning development training budget, it's going to cost more. So let's just say for anyone listening, it is right sized based on the size of your company, where you're at, and what's going on. But it's value based pricing. It's not because you're buying me and you're buying the knowledge on how to get things done. So with that sort of pricing structure, it does tend to vary greatly. But I'll say this: I operate in projects. I don't operate in products. So you're not buying one thing from me where I'm like, okay, this is a SKU for this item and it costs $1,000. I sell it to you and you take it. I put together a customized scope of work for each one of my customers. And in that customized scope of work, you get to work with me to define exactly what we need to do and why, all around people, process, and technology. What makes me different, Charles? Let's talk about that for a second. Like, I do project-based work. It's retainer-based, right? It's flat monthly or quarterly amounts, basically. What makes me different is there are a lot of consultants out there that do the tech. I'm a tech consultant. I want to be your GTM engineer. I want to do all the tech. There are people that do training, sales training. I am your sales trainer extraordinaire. I teach this method. I do that. Da, 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 da. There are people that come in and they do Lean Six Sigma and they do just process-oriented stuff. What I do is people, process, and technology, very hyper-focused on B2B outbound sales for technology companies. I don't work with B2C. I don't work with companies that are not tech-enabled, that aren't tech-forward. So that is my niche. That's very specific.
And don't you feel that having packages would be more transparent, would bring more leads, and would bring more scalability to your business?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It's something that I'm working on here going into 2025. The GTM engineering thing and the Clay universe is really blowing up. Are you familiar with Clay? Clay.com?
Yeah. I'm a Persona fanboy. I'm affiliated with them, but Clay is fascinating. It's pretty fun.
Right. So I'm in the Clay universe. I'm a Clay creator. I think that the future of what I do is going to be less focused heavily on the people training, because executives don't want to buy people training. They want to buy AI. Like that's where I'm seeing people lean forward. Every time I talk about AI, they're like, okay, cool. I think most, if not all, VC-backed companies have a line item in their budget for artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence enablement. They know it's becoming a new thing, a new category. So part of my focus in 2025 is to see how can I go for that budget in a tech company. If you're a Series A, Series B, Series C company, and you say to yourself, Mr. CFO says, hey, I don't want to grow headcount this year. I want to grow in terms of enablement and efficiency. The answer is AI in 2025. So how do you get that done? Well, people in your company can work on it a little bit, but then you also go get a Kevin Hopp to help with the outbound sales. You go get a Charles Cormier to help with your email automation. You go get, people here and there to help you in very, very specific areas. I think that's where I'm going to excel.
And do you feel businesses are ready for AI? Isn't it just a buzzword for them, or did they finally understand the benefits of it and they're ready to buy AI services?
No, I think we're, I talked about this on a few other podcasts. Like, I do believe we're at the dial-up internet stage of AI. Why? Because ChatGPT is the most popular form of AI right now. Popular. Like if you ask, random person on the street, what do you know about AI? Oh, well, ChatGPT, right? That's like someone saying, Earthlink is the internet. Like, what do you know about the internet? Oh, it's Earthlink. Now, for those listening that weren't born when I was in 1991, so I was like 7, 8, 9 years old when the internet became popular in 1998, 1999, 2000, right? You used to have to use your phone line to log on to the internet, and it played this weird dial-up tone, and you could only have either your house phone or your internet working at one time. They wouldn't both work at the same time. And back then, people thought the internet was Earthlink. They thought that email was silly. They thought that, think about that. And that was just 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Like not even like long time ago. During our lifetimes, we have gone from, well, this internet thing is just a fad. We all know radio and TV will be around forever, to holy shit, the entire economy is hinged on the internet. Well, with AI, right now we're in ChatGPT is AI. Okay, so the evolution of this is the same way websites, web hosting, video on the internet, streaming, all the things that came on the internet that made it infinitely valuable, the devices that enabled the internet became infinitely valuable. The same shit's going to happen with AI. AI is going to get seeded into everything. So when you say our business is ready to use AI, absolutely the fuck not. They don't understand the first thing about how to really weave AI into their business. And a larger established business should be scary. They should be apprehensive. They should be careful about how they bring AI into their business.
Interesting. And yeah,
Clay for in there. Like the market needs to meet in there, Charles, right? Like the vendors building around AI need to create concise, tight solutions that leverage AI in a healthy way for businesses to then adapt. But in general, AI is tough.
Right. And Clay is scaling AIs, right? It's taking AI and spreadsheeting it. just like a bunch of companies nowadays, like Replits, are deploying AI agents to build your app. It's really scaling AI to another level. How are you using Clay nowadays, and what kind of campaigns are you deploying?
Great question. Great question. So I think the number one thing that I'm rolling out to a few of my customers right now is the idea of research at scale. So calling culture, name of my business, what people come to me for is, hey, we're doing cold calling and it's not succeeding. We want to do cold calling, we don't know where to start, or I need to figure out my go-to-market message and I need to start talking to people, but I don't even know where to begin, right? So those are the three types of customers I help. All of them have the same sort of problem, which is cold calling is just creating a really good list and then having really good conversations with them. So the conversation part, we get a dialer, you get some tech to organize it, a HubSpot or whatever. Then Kevin teaches you what to say and why to say it. Cool. But if you're calling the wrong people and you don't know anything about the people that you're calling, it's a big problem. So Clay allows you to do this hyper-personalized research at the individual level. This is not just stuff of, okay, I want to see what, Limelight is as a company, what they're doing. I'm going to go to limelight.com and read through their blog. Dude, Claygent can go get you a snippet, a one-liner, something interesting, a unique differentiator about each individual person that you reach out to that you can then cite on the phone. So Clay is, like you said, it's scaling AI in that it's doing this manual research part of what makes good cold callers effective and making it really scalable, easy, and implementable, right? Actionable research at scale.
Right. My next question was like, do you feel that calls will be scalable? What's the future of interruptions, right? Because even cold email is a micro interruption. Wouldn't the future be like, I have a buying agent, you have a selling agent, and we send our agents at scale and see where there's potential fits?
It's funny you ask. This is Charles. That's my that's my macro take.
That caught you in the throat, right?
Yeah, you got me. You got me, brother.
Got you emotional.
Yeah. So if you think about it, what is an AI designed to do? An AI is designed to ingest information and then intelligently be able to answer questions, have opinions, all that kind of shit, right? So I think we will get to this future state that you just mentioned, which is when you start a company, you will have your own AI, your own LLM, large language model, that gets trained on everything. It's connected to your accounting, it's connected to your sales, connected to your marketing, connected to your website, connected to your Slack, whatever. It will know everything about your company. So when you think you have a problem, you would ask your AI to find solutions about that problem, and the AI would go out to other vendor AIs and simply do problem and solution matching with opinions. It's real opinions guided on what the fuck's wrong with your business. Cool.
Love that.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that future, but I do believe that would be the ideal world, right? Because even as business owners, it's mostly about two things: about bringing cash in and then investing that money into the right vehicles, right, to get richer. So if we can have a buying AI, I think the world would be much better. I'm not sure who's building that. Let's see if Open AI deploys that in their product pipeline. Kev, where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, LinkedIn's gonna be the number one place, or callingculture.com. It's my website. Go check it out. Like I mentioned, I help B2B software businesses is 90%. I will say this: I have an expertise around cybersecurity. Cybersecurity teams are seeing great success deploying my methods using a dialer. I'm building scripts and helping coach their reps. So if you're a cybersecurity salesperson listening to this, you might want to reach out and see if we can work together, because I'm really helping a lot of cybersecurity companies set a lot of meetings, have meaningful conversations, build good pipeline.
Kevin Hopp and Charles